are at Midem 2013, and this is the first real day of the conference. And Digital Music Trends is going to cover the show for the next 3 days. So I'm here with Max Ciociola, the founder and CEO of the company MusixMatch. So hi, Max, and how's it going today?
Hi, Andre. Very good. Thanks.
Great. Great. Thanks for coming early in the morning. And so let's talk about MusixMatch. I mean, it's a lyrics company. It's an Italian company, which is great for me as well because there's not that many startups that come out of Italy. And I want to talk about the history of the company. But first of all, let's start with your latest news. So you have some announcement to make for this week?
Yeah, we just reached. We're really proud about 10 million users using MusixMatch services. We prefer to be, name it a services much more than apps.
Yeah, and
we just raised it additionally for $1 million. To continue growing, especially in Asia and US.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's take a step back and look at how you started. You started in 2010.
We started in 2010, and the original idea was very simple. I've been in my past experience, dealing a lot with those traffic coming from those really crappy and illegal lyric sites.
Yeah,
I don't know much of you knows that lyrics has been kind of the most searched word. Currently is just the second or third word on Google.
Yeah,
and that drives, just to give you a number, around 800,000 million unique visitors per month.
Wow.
I mean, everywhere in the world. I mean, so it's all SEO traffic.
Yeah.
The typical behavior of people, which is changing, by the way, it is, I want to get the lyrics by Coldplay. So I just type, on Google, Coldplay lyrics, and then I enter into these crappy and mostly illegal sites. So I've realized then at that time that there was a bug. The most searched content around music, because if you then analyze, on Google Trend, when people search for any artist, they do. When they search for Coldplay, the most important related keyword is lyrics. So they don't do that for track, concert, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I found that there was a bug. The most searched content around music, the experience was pretty bad because what about if I'm here now and I want to get lyrics from my own music? Because that's what we basically was very successful. People, they want to basically and first get the lyrics for the music they have in their phone.
Of course.
So there was a bug, and then we tried to solve addressing worldwide licensing structure with the most important top publisher. It took almost 2 years, but then we made it, and then we tried. First of all, we had the idea to sub-license this content to third party, which means basically have an API, an open API,
and a B2B basis.
Exactly. It kind of we were running all these fantastic music hack day.
Yeah.
They helped us a lot because being just in front of all the music industry,
of course,
and it was not scalable because when you have to convince someone else about what you're doing, about the potential, then it just sucks. It doesn't scale. So we said, let's do it on our own in the way we do believe. And so that was very fast because last year, to give you an idea, at the Mobile World Congress, so exactly 1 year ago, we announced 3 million users.
Wow. Yeah.
So and the big news is that we are adding 1 new million user per month. The reason
That's impressive growth.
The reason we're growing so much is pretty simple. MusixMatch let you scan all your music and match it with lyrics, let you identify, with the fingerprint, the music and getting the lyrics. And the experience is awesome because we have synchronized lyrics.
Yeah.
So this means, people are spending hours just singing,
Yeah.
And that's working.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And so, how did you, when you started out, of course, we all know how that it's relatively difficult. I mean, maybe it's slightly easier when you're just dealing with lyrics, but in any case, it's not easy to deal with major publishers and talk about licensing in any case. So, how did you go about having your first conversations on that front? And was it easy or was it very difficult?
It was not easy, but they were really open, I must be honest on that. Although publisher kind of different company compared with label.
Sure.
They're not really in the digital space, you know. I mean, indirectly they get the money. They get paid for Spotify streaming by collecting rights. And so they felt that this content was interesting for them because they could manage directly without any collecting rights. I must be honest, on a technical side, was not easy because, you know, that's very fun. But the publisher, they didn't provide any lyrics to us.
Yeah.
Which is kind of another bug that, you know, when we use it to buy this.
There's no database.
There's no database.
Yeah.
So we have built physically, and that was the challenge, the world's largest database in 32 languages.
That's incredible. Yeah.
So they know. And then I must be honest, you know, they were really open. And we had such a good partner with them. So I mean, it's kind of a different, you know, compared to the label, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about what drove growth, of course, you have the mobile application that is you know where you have your whole user base. You know, it's based on that. But of course, something that probably helped with growth and making people aware of a company was also the Spotify app integration. Definitely. So of course a lot of people are talking about how there's no real option for monetizing that yet, but how did you see that as a driver for growth?
Well, the Spotify was absolutely, you know, important for us because, you know, lyrics without music is nothing. What I mean is that people need to listen to music, you know, in order to enjoy the lyrics. So Spotify was pretty important for us. In terms of getting a global reach, although we're not really, you know, growing there, what is driving a lot of traffic growing are our mobile apps.
Yeah, sure.
But on the other side, you know, in terms also, users provide content, you know, they can sync, you know, directly the lyrics through Spotify, and that's absolutely successful. There's a community around MusixMatch of more than, you know, like 300,000, you know, contributors of people, you know, doing that. So it was, and we're building a business model with Spotify around that. So, I mean, we're pretty happy about that.
Absolutely.
And it's currently MusixMatch the second most used app on all over the Spotify, and I can share that. On December, MusixMatch generated more than 1.5 million hours.
Wow.
On Spotify, hours of, you know, track streamed there.
Absolutely. And so looking at also the way that music consumption is moving forward as well. Of course, you know, the app of MusixMatch nowadays scans for your music collection and then matches the lyrics up to that. How do you see that moving forward as more people move onto streaming services? Do you think there's going to be any way of integrating that into the streaming part?
For sure. But, you know, what we are seeing, I must be honest on that, I do believe streaming is the future, definitely. And I'm one of the biggest Spotify, you know, supporter and users. But, you know, what we are seeing is pretty different. Most of teenagers, they don't have any money.
Yeah.
So no way they could buy any subscription to get their music on mobile. They still download, you know, a lot of music illegally, which is something that scares me. But if you look at the most downloaded apps, both on Android and iPhone, this is really scares me, are this kind of music downloader stuff, whatever. This scares me because no one is really doing anything. So people keep downloading this app and downloading tons of illegal. On Android, there's not any paid ecosystem besides Google Music, but which is not really growing. So what happened is they have their phone full of music, and MusixMatch is a player. It let them playing and watch lyrics on these. So the future is for sure streaming, but we must be aware that, you know, not all the people could pay $10 per month.
Absolutely. And looking at you know, MusixMatch as you know, as a fantastic startup and a great example for, you know, of what a music startup can achieve. it's also interesting that you are still based in Italy. You know, I know of a couple of other Italian startups that have taken funding and then have moved elsewhere. So how do you find being in Italy? Do you find it problematic in any way, or with technology, you can overcome any sort of problems of boundaries or localization?
To give you an idea, 40% of total traffic of MusixMatch is generated in the US. Second country, it's South Korea, Japan. Then we have UK, Germany, Italy. It's kind of 19 country. So we don't really do anything there.
Sure.
And as we say, we are made in Italy, but enjoyed everywhere, because really we get a lot of traffic international. So that is my second experience in terms of startup. The first one I've run, and then it was a ringtone startup based in Bologna that then I sold to Data. It doesn't really make any difference wherever you are. The cool thing is that I've built a team of 20 engineers in Italy, that they're really passionate about what they were doing. They travel a lot. They do every weekend the music act day, whatever. We keep an open ecosystem. Our office is totally open. People come there, and you can even base, everywhere if you act like this. It doesn't really change. Our competitor is based in California, but we deal with them. So I would recommend being first, focus on your product, your startup before your geo, opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, it was absolutely great having you on.
Thanks for inviting me. It was really fun.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.